Today on 7th Circle Gaming, we're going to analyze the game Fire Commander. We begin, as we always do, with full disclosure, which you are welcome to read through. Just pause the video now and read through everything. If you would prefer not to, let's move on and look at some screenshots. In our first screenshot today, we're going to look at the overworld map, which doubles as the mission selection screen. There are two icons that players will encounter here. Red circles represent uncompleted missions, and green circles represent completed missions, which can be repeated for additional bonuses or score increased. Moving on now, let's take a closer look at the world of Fire Commander. Fire Commander is set, roughly speaking, now. It could be anywhere in the world, although it does lean a lot more heavily toward the United States. Onto the user interface. At the top left-hand corner of the screen, we have the system menu, which on missions players are not going to want to pay a whole lot of attention to. And when players are off missions, it will move to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. At the top right-hand corner of the screen, we have the objectives menu. At the center left of the screen, although it is a bit more toward the bottom, we have the vehicle selection menu. At the bottom left then is the mini-map. At the bottom center of the screen, in its usual place, is the squad member selection menu, followed by, in the bottom right, the additional details about the currently selected squad member. Speaking of squad members, in our next screenshot, we're going to look at the squad member upgrade tree. What we want to draw your attention to here in particular is that there are 4 specializations, or generalists, that players can invest their upgrade points into. Players want to pay particular attention to how they invest those upgrade points, as those will have a significant impact on the difficulty of the game. In addition to upgrading their squad members, players can also assign upgrades to the vehicles in the game, although there are only 2 that they can assign upgrades to. The vehicles that players will have on a mission are not decided by the player, they're defined by the game. Just something that we want to draw your attention to. And with all of the screenshots now covered, let's look at our first chapter proper, which is, as always, immersion. Here the game has earned a 7 out of 15. What we would just add to this is that the primary immersion aspect of the game is score attack. That is the desire to get the highest score on every mission. Now then, let's move on and talk about difficulty. Here the game has earned a below average score of 5 out of 15. As we said earlier, it really is the upgrade choices that players make that will affect the difficulty of the game, although it does seem like there might be some hidden variables, which is another way of saying that if players attempt the same mission 2 or even 3 times, the mission may be more difficult than they expected their first time around. So then, let's move on and talk about the lasting appeal. For lasting appeal, the game has again earned a 5 out of 15. It doesn't have any DLC or mod support that doesn't require extraordinary effort. It is a linear story-centric game, although the missions in the game can take absolutely as little as 30 seconds or as long as 20 minutes. So then, where does the game stand overall? Overall then, Fire Commander has earned a below average score of 5.6 out of 15, although that really should be read as the game has niche appeal. The game may appeal to players that are interested in a non-combat centric game, as the game really isn't. The game may also appeal to players that are interested in score attack games, that being games where the primary objective is getting the highest score on all of the missions. Players that have an interest or experience in the fields of firefighting or search and rescue may find the game more appealing than those who don't. And now on to some highly subjective statements, so I hope you have your salt handy. The pathfinding in the game is sometimes absolutely atrocious. The squad members have limited self-preservation. At best, they will happily stand in the middle of a fire without a second thought unless the player manually directs them out of it. The music and the sound effects in the game will get grating after a while. If we were to make one suggestion to the developers, it would be that they would add additional music and additional voice lines. And on that note, we will just say thank you very much to everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. We appreciate you extremely. We look forward to seeing you on the next one, and from 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.